Welcome, everyone. I'm going to wait for everybody to join here before we get started. Great to see some familiar names back to join us again. Got a good group today. All right, thank you all for joining. We're just going to wait a minute and make sure everybody can get in before we start today's program. And I see the chat is disabled, so let us work on fixing that right now. Thank you for the note, Gilbert. All right, well, I fixed that. Josh, do you want to kind of give everyone a brief overview of the program today? Because we got some great speakers and everybody gearing up in VR for a great event. So let me fix that chat setting for everybody.
Okay, sure, Anne. So I'm Josh Abrams with Dell Technologies. It's great to be here and certainly appreciate you letting us join this afternoon. Again, really great to see so many people already joining us here on the chat. And really looking forward to today's event. I'm having some trouble talking already. But this is actually one of my favorite customers, Topgolf. I'll be seeing Mike Zvolanek. I always butcher his last name, so I'll apologize to him the next time I see him in person. It was great seeing him at VMware Explore US a couple weeks ago in San Francisco. But we'll be seeing him. We'll be hearing from him. We'll hear from Ash McCarty as well from Dell Technologies, and of course our ever-present host, our moderator, Dave Giesica from the CONVERGED User Group. So really looking forward to today's event and getting into VR. And I know the Link to VR team and the CONVERGED User Group have really put together a terrific virtual world for us to enjoy here this afternoon.
Yes, we are very excited. We were in San Francisco 2 weeks ago already. I can't believe it's been that far. And we had just a fantastic turnout, and it was great for Josh and I to see one another. And we were really excited to bring this program to everyone who may not have had a chance to go or wants to continue the conversation. All right, Josh, I am still looking for this chat thing. I know I've turned it on before and I can't, so let me find that quick.
Okay, I don't know if that's something that's been disabled for the attendees. I'm seeing live a chat capability as a panelist, but we'll see. It looks like that Q&A is working. So if we can't get chat going, we can certainly invite people to submit questions through the Q&A area.
All right, Anne, I see you. Let's see if that works.
The test chat.
Here we go. I found it.
Okay, great.
We're back in business.
So while we're talking about Zoom features, we may as well talk some housekeeping items while we're here, and just want to ensure folks make sure that your mics are muted, that your cameras are turned off. Now that we have chat working, we invite you to submit your questions both to Anne and myself, as well as to our VR presenters. You can submit those right within chat, and we'll be sure to pass those along as the show progresses.
Yeah, and this show, it's just such a great opportunity to, get the insight about what happened there. And if you were there, let us know in the chat. But, just to continue that conversation, like I mentioned earlier, Mike Zvolanek with Topgolf has such an awesome story to share. And I know a lot of people were coming up to him after the event, after the program in San Francisco, to ask more questions. So what they're doing is, just top of the line innovation. And I know Mike will share more about this during his conversation, but the partnership and collaboration that Topgolf has had with Dell has been really special. So hearing his story and then him being able to take everybody here on a tour within the Topgolf VR environment is really special. So I don't think anyone has seen that yet. This is like the first time we're previewing it to the CONVERGED User Group members. So that's going to be pretty cool.
And the good news is, because I have had a chance to experience that virtual Topgolf area, is that after today's call, if you haven't been to a Topgolf in person, you'll be able to tell people you've been to a Topgolf, because this looks just like the real thing. They've done a great job building this.
That's right. How many people, if you've been to a Top Golf, let us know. Let us know in the chat. Have you been to one? Have you been to the one in Vegas? Have you been to other ones? Curious who's been to Top Golf, because we'll have a chance to talk one-on-one with Mike Zvolanek after the presentation. And I know he's always interested to hear where people have been. So I know a lot of people usually say the Vegas location because of events and being out there, but they have so many great spots.
I saw David Chubb pop up there on chat and say that he's been mostly to DC and Florida, and that'd be a whole other question to ask folks here who are attending. Not only have you been to a Top Golf, but we're a competitive group, aren't we? Who's been to the most Top Golfs?
Yes, that's a good one, because I'm sure Mike will want to talk to them too.
Okay, I think we got an early leader here, Rodney Robinson, already listing at least 3 different locations there. Good for you, Rodney. That's terrific.
That's impressive. Oh, and it does look like they're ready to start the presentation with an AltSpace VR. I can't talk this morning either, Josh. So it looks like Regina from Link to VR is going to be showing us, taking us soon into the stage. So just to let everyone know, oh, looks like we're getting some camera shot here. All right, Regina.
Hi, Anne. Hi, Josh. Can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you, but we got a little background noise. We're hearing
we got 2 different audios coming from you, Regina. Yeah. This is what happens. Regina's kind of got us stuck in 2 different worlds.
Going now.
Oh, much better.
Much cleaner. Thank you.
Yay! Oh, you're welcome. No problem at all. We are here. We're in this fully custom top to bottom converged VR lounge. I'm so excited to be bringing the audience in today. We're hearing David Giesica on the intercom on our PA system here in our virtual venue. The show is about to begin. Shall we make our way to the auditorium?
Sounds great. Lead the way, Regina.
All righty.
Looking forward to see if Regina walks forwards or backwards, because she is a master of walking backwards in VR.
Yes, I am. I have to practice this. I practiced it just for this reason. Here we go. I haven't bumped into a wall yet. Oh, well, I got to find the doorway. Oh, okay. All right, let's see.
Right. Well, we'll go off camera since the presentation looks like it's starting, and then we'll be back to guide everybody after the program wraps up, and we'll go check out Top Golf.
And of course, just to let you know, we are, even though we're turning off our cameras, we are here with you. So if you do, again, have any questions or comments for us, just hit us up on the chat, but we'll be 10-10 on the side.
Giesica, I'm with the CONVERGED User Group and also Dell Technologies, and I am here to welcome you to another Converged VR Lounge. Today, we've got an incredible lineup, just like every time we get in the lounge. We are going to be talking about VMware Explore San Francisco, and I have 2 fantastic special guests to join me with that. So I would like to introduce the 2 folks who will pop up on stage any second now. Mike Zvolanek from Topgolf and Ash McCarty from Dell Technologies. Mike, Ash, great to have you guys here, and thanks for joining. We're going to take seats, hopefully not fall over. There we go. And we'll get started. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining. This is a fantastic opportunity. Ash, last time we were together, we were physically together in San Francisco a couple weeks ago. We had a great meeting at Fogo de Chao. The challenge was a lot of the stuff that we wanted to talk about, we couldn't talk about because the announcements were coming the next morning. So I was hoping we could kind of kick it off with you, and just generally, I imagine folks who work where I think that's kind of top of mind.
Yeah, so thanks, David. Yeah, so it was a great time at Fogo de Chao, and we got to sit with a lot of customers. And really, VMware Explore is all about highlighting not only the futures of what VMware has in their portfolio, but really highlighting how we're working together in our continued relationship with VMware. And on a broader Dell level, if you kind of look at, hey, where we're partnering with VMware across, there's really about 40 different initiatives that we have across 10 different solution areas. So if you look broadly, continue to have a tremendous focus on VMware and a VMware first strategy. If you want to really zero in on VxRail, how that relationship is going, we always talk about how VxRail is the only jointly engineered HCI system with VMware, and we really look at that and want customers to know that's more than just a tagline. So when we are working on a daily basis with VMware, I just met with them for 2 hours yesterday. I meet with them 2 hours again today. We're basically BFFs, and it's really how we approach our ongoing initiatives on VxRail, and we're driving towards product innovation and continuous product improvement. And kind of one of the things that I'm going to talk about today around Project Monterey is a great example of that. So I'll go into it in detail in a second, but really it's something we started with VMware on VxRail back in February of 2020. So if you kind of think back where you were in February 2020, I was still in the office at that time. And I remember going into the CTO's office and talking about this and getting on calls with VMware. And then very quickly, we went to remote working conditions. And we basically delivered this entire project over 2 years, all working remotely. So it's an incredible achievement. Really excited that we were able to just discuss it and talk about it.
Please don't make me go
That's
back
really
to
cool.
February of 2020.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. Agreed. Mike Zvolanek, can you introduce yourself to folks and then give us like your top thing that you got out of in person in San Francisco?
Awesome. Yeah. So Mike Zvolanek, Senior Manager of Global Infrastructure for Topgolf. VME was a great show. For us, it was about connecting with a lot of folks in person, making sure that we continue to talk about our use case. Learned a lot about the tools and the innovation that's coming around the VMware centric tools that we use to monitor our environment, to keep eyes on, and really the innovation and automation that we're driving our environments to, and making sure that not only can we stay agile and stay quick from an implementation perspective, but also really being consistent about our deployments and not standing up snowflakes.
Yeah, it's if I think back to it, it's really neat to have both you guys here because it feels like San Francisco, this VME was really a VxRail and a Topgolf show. I mean, we kicked it off with the user group meeting. Mike, you had a great conversation with our other board member, Suzanne Pickett. Ash, you had a great conversation with Dave McGraw. But then the next day, that morning, it was a bunch of VxRail announcements. And Ash, I'll give you a second here. Or give me a second, please, and then I'll let you dive into it. But then Topgolf was part of the keynote on Tuesday, and then Mike, you were on some panels, and Scotro was doing some fancy hybrid immersion VR stuff in the booth with Dell, and it really kind of continued through. So we're really lucky to have you guys here. Ash, last I recall, you were, I think the comment was, I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. I want to tell you about all these cool things, but I can't yet. I'm not allowed to unwrap them. So could you unwrap for the audience, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And super thrilled. It was kind of a bummer we didn't get to talk about it in that much detail the night of, but I know we had a very big announcement the next day. So kind of get this opportunity to really share this with everyone. There's 4 big announcements we made, and they are so comprehensive that there's no way I'll be able to go into that much detail, but happy to give you an overview of what we talked about, and then we can actually deep dive into them further after the discussion. Well, so really to take away, if you looked at what VMware announced at VME, it was really updates to their core products around vSphere 8 and vSAN 8. And as you'd expect, VxRail is going to be right there with them, as we talked about the joint innovation. So for vSphere 8, VMware introduced vSphere 8 with DPUs. So you might have known this as Project Monterey, and I just highlight how we worked over 2 years with them. This is really going to be laying the foundation for the future of customers' data centers. whether as customers are scaling out workloads with need more performance, need to optimize their configurations, as well as network security. What this capability does is introduce DPUs on VxRail and allows you to offload those networking services to the DPU to free up resources and have security isolation. Very huge. For vSAN 8, VMware introduced vSAN Express Storage Architecture. It's a new vSAN architecture that complements the vSAN OSA, which is their original storage architecture that everyone's familiar with. The ESA is designed from the ground up and highlighting really the performance capabilities that vSAN can achieve. So you're going to see up to four times more performance. You're going to see greater efficiency with the data services, and best of all, VxRail is going to have two models that are going to be supported as well. So you're going to have the E660N all NVMe configuration and a P670N all NVMe configuration. So we're really excited about that. We also made an announcement about our next generation ruggedized platform. So the VxRail D series, the next model of that. And really what's unique about this is two things. One, it's going to be our most compact, our smallest, most compact form factor. It's going to have ruggedized capability and really designed for not only remote sites and edge, but also even we're talking to customers that are really interested in deploying in their data centers. It's a multi-node, so it's very scalable. But the thing that when we talk to customers that they're most excited about, and some of the work we've jointly innovated with VMware on this, it's going to have the industry's first purpose-built vSAN witness sled. So it's basically a witness sled that's embedded in the chassis, and when you do two-node deployments with the witness, you can deploy that. And then the final one is just quickly is we announced the enhanced storage flexibility with our dynamic node apps on. So, a lot to unpack there, and you could see why we were super excited to share all the new capabilities coming.
Yeah, kid and Christmas for sure. I think, for to your point with the ruggedized node and deploying it in data centers, not all data centers are built the same and are equivalent to what you think about a traditional data center, where there's a ton of power and cooling, and there's it's a very clean environment. There's definitely data centers out there, even in our environments, that are a little harsh, don't necessarily have some of the standards you would see in a like a tier 1 data center. And so those ruggedized nodes are an interesting prospect for us, and something that we'll definitely be looking at.
That's pretty
and
crazy.
GPUs.
How small are these things going to be? Like, is this something that you'd put in a Humvee?
Yeah. So application wise, they'll have two different form factors. They'll have ones you can put in a rack, so your standard rack points, but there will be a smaller form factor that you can actually put on, deploy in the field. You can put in the back of a vehicle. You can mount on a wall vertically. Very versatile. So yeah, very small form factor. And like I said, it's going to be one of the smallest form factors we've ever introduced in the portfolio.
Cool, exciting. Sorry, I was going back to my Air Force days.
And going back to vSAN, I think I'm excited about ESA, just because it feels like they've taken everything that, all the learnings and everything that we've learned about vSAN throughout the years, and are going, almost starting with a clean sheet of paper, right?
Yeah, and it really is taking, and while both vSAN, the OSA, and the ESA will still coexist, ESA is really taking what started out with a different world back in 2015. If you look at the infrastructure that's available in 2015, it was, you didn't have NVMe standardized. So really re-architecting for high performance, the higher efficiency data, it really lays the groundwork for customers that need that scale and need that performance in their data center.
Yep.
Really cool. So both of you guys talked to a bunch of customers starting Monday night and through. What I think would be helpful to share with the audience and the folks who might not have been there, like, were there some themes, some key takeaways that you gained from those conversations that you could share? And we'll start with you, Ash.
Yes, so the whole show, the most excitement I had talking to customers is really VMware's key announcements were around multi-cloud. It was around their core product refreshes, vSphere 8 and vSAN 8. So majority of the conversations with customers were looking at how they could evolve their data centers and how they could simplify their operations, taking advantage of those technologies in VxRail. Uh, so tremendously powerful conversations where we could lay out, hey, how these new technologies with the DPUs and how ESAN ESA can really come together to empower their future workloads. And I think customers are excited because as they transition to those new technologies with VxRail, they can take advantage of those out the gate, and they have all the capabilities of the orchestration and automation.
Cool.
Very cool.
Mike, what were your conversations like, or what kind of themes did you take away?
It was great for me because I got to talk to a lot of customers that were really early on in their VxRail journey, and they were doing pilots, they were doing proof of concepts. They had a small cluster that they were putting test workloads on, and so got to really offer some guidance on those early days. You know, take ourselves back to the early days
Okay.
and give them some tips and tricks that we've learned along the way that have made us successful in our journey. And I think that's exciting for me, right? To see these folks that are that early on and making sure that they're having a good experience and being out the roadblocks and the things that we ran into so that they can jump over them, dodge them, whatever.
Yeah. And again, that kind of gets to the heart of why the Converged User Group exists, to get people together to talk about that, to share the different experience levels so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, or, hey, you don't have to trip and fall down in the same place I did. I can point out, there's a pothole there. You could step around that, for an analogy.
Yep.
So this is great, guys. This has been fantastic as far as a recap. What I think would be great to do next, and Mike, you guys did this on your Tuesday. You were able to. We partnered with Link to VR. We partnered with Dell Technologies, and you were able to really walk people through live on the show floor a digital twin of the of a venue at Topgolf. So
Yep.
is that something like, could we do that again today?
Oh, I think we definitely should.
Don't leave us hanging.
Yeah, I definitely think we should.
All right, very cool. And then as we're getting ready to do that, folks, was that a softball? Was that a leading question? Probably. But we're ready to do that in a second. So Topgolf and Mike have been great hosts. They're going to take us through. Mike's going to give us a tour of a venue and talk really through their story about how they're using VxRail to deliver the incredible stuff that they do at Topgolf. And people might also have noticed these fantastic new Fat Tire, newly branded or rebranded Fat Tire Ale. I'm not sure that you've seen this out in your grocery stores or your liquors or beer stores or whatever yet. I think this came just from Fort Collins yesterday. So if you're seeing this, you are seeing the first unveil in a relatively public or semi-public area. But Fat Tire Ale is part of New Belgium Brewing. Adam Little is a board member for the Converged User Group as well. And we always like to do a little hat tip or drop an Easter egg. But these guys did another fantastic digital twin with their VxRail story. You may have seen it. If you haven't, we've got all sorts of opportunities coming up to be able to see these again. So I think if we're ready to go in the room, Ed, are you out there in the virtual sphere?
Absolutely, Dave. I am virtually right here. So, all right. Awesome job, everybody. So first off, can we get some emojis for these guys for doing such a fantastic job? Okay. I mean, absolutely awesome. Just hit up those emojis. Thank you, everybody, for making the time to come in and join us today. That's for yourselves, too. And the fact that we now get to actually go to Topgolf and check it out. And I even heard a rumor that maybe we could see Topgolf from a vantage point that maybe you can't normally see it. I think we might get a chance to do that. So we're going to get an opportunity, and I would even say for the Zoom folks, what Dave just shared is absolutely correct. That we just unveiled a brand New Belgium Brewing logo and rebranding of Fat Tire literally 2 days ago, and it's being debuted here for the first time. So make sure that Regina and our Zoom team, the Zoom audience, gets a nice close up of that really cool new beer can coming your way. And I hope everybody gets to join, have a drink or two, regardless of what time zone it is. So, all right, excellent. On that note, Dave, if you're ready, I think we're going to go ahead and head
So-
over to Topgolf, right?
I think it's great.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take Ash, and then you can start funneling people in. Ash, shall we
Yeah,
go
we're gonna
and
let
get ready
Ash
for
head
him?
over first, just
Yep.
so everybody knows. And then what we're gonna do is after Ash heads over, what's coming next. So thanks everybody. Give us 2 minutes, and then we're gonna head right over. We're just gonna check the teleporters right now.
Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, how amazing was that content? I can't wait to now get to go to Topgolf.
Thanks, Regina, for guiding us. That was fantastic. It was
Does this mean
nice
we're
to kind of hear
unmuted?
that recap with them.
Yes, so great. And what we're having the opportunity to do now is travel into our backstage environment, which you're going to get a nice up close and personal look at, which also in and of itself
I'm
is just
sorry
a
to
really
interrupt.
cool spot.
Regina, if I could just jump in for a second, Regina, for 1 second, just say we're gonna let everybody head and follow Regina. She's right by this door over there with the Zoom team, and they're gonna head right in, and they're gonna show you how to get into the teleporter. So just follow Regina and the Zoom audience, and we're heading right
Regina
into
once
the
again has her feet
right
in
into
2
the
different
auditorium,
worlds.
or into the Topgolf experience. So Regina, I'll let you take it from here. Thanks, everybody.
So folks on the Zoom, of
Alrighty,
course, we are going to be
alrighty.
following Regina and this group as well. We're going to be heading over to the teleporter, and then eventually our camera person will step into the teleporter, and then we all will arrive at Topgolf. It's certainly a much easier commute than trying to get to that Vegas place, for example.
That's right. That's right.
That's
I mean,
exactly right.
it's not every day we get to teleport via a Zoom, so we got to enjoy it.
Oh, here we go. So I know folks, a lot of folks would prefer to have the headset on and be experiencing this in VR, but the nice thing is we don't have to worry about any of the side effects. Some people do experience a little bit of seasickness or what have you, getting accustomed to the goggles. So we have a nice clean entry right into Topgolf, and here we are in the lobby.
Oh, and I love Gilbert's comment. Do you ever get used to not having knees? It's still strange to me. I mean, that it's right there.
Ah, well, hey, you don't have to worry about any injuries, right? ACLs and MCLs and meniscus, you don't have to worry about that in VR at all.
Sure.
That's right. You just get to float in alt space.
That's right.
And if anyone's
And-
curious, the VR headsets that they're using, it's an Oculus Quest 2. For those who are on the Zoom, that's the headset that I think most of the participants are using.
Mhm.
And again, this is called Alt Space VR, which you're seeing.
In this space, Anne and Josh, so what we're looking at right now is the Topgolf lobby. This is a digital twin of the lobby, and just bringing sort of awareness to some of the incredible details here. Something like the LED lit, you can see the LED lighting around, right? You get those sort of amethyst vibes in there.
Mhm.
The reflective ceiling is something that is just absolutely beyond. In the headset, it is so immersive. And when you're sort of walking by the reflective walls and windows and ceiling, and you can see the shadow of your avatar, it's so realistic. It's beautiful. And I see Dave and Mike have taken the stage. So let's go ahead. We'll turn it back on over to our speakers.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Regina.
Often preview through a webcast what we were expecting and anticipating and excited for at VME San Francisco. To check in with Adrian real quick while we were in San Francisco, but it's fantastic to have him here. So while we're waiting for folks to come into the room, Adrian, why don't you come up onto the stage? We'll see if we can broadcast you, but what are some quick takeaways that you and VMUG got from VME San Francisco? Yeah, I think I got you. Go ahead. Say
All
something.
right, cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
We got you.
at the end of the day, I think we talked about it earlier, which is really it's about those updates.
Yep.
Moving to the new vSAN and the new ESX can be a big deal, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the hardware layer. Having those DPU, GPU, CPU combinations, right? And so I think that's gonna be a game changer for us as well. So I'm excited to see that. We're multi-cloud as well, and so there was a lot of multi-cloud conversation going on, and just looking at our overall inventories, and I think there's a lot of folks out there too who are looking at maybe having some legacy 6X in their environments and looking to upgrade and make those changes. And so we're looking to Rails and other things as how do we get that life cycle refresh going. So yeah, so a lot of conversations. It was just great to be back in person too. I mean, I came away, I wasn't expecting how much energy I would get from sort of being around all the folks and talking technology again, and hearing stories that are outside of my organization. I've been heads down in my own problems for the last 2 years, and it's actually been kind of nice to see what everybody else is doing too. So that was cool.
Great to be in person.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Adrian, thank you for those words, those comments. Thanks for joining. We're going to get started on the tour here shortly, but when we're done with the tour, find Adrian, have a conversation with him, find Ash, find me, find Mike, and we've got subject matter experts in the room as well, but we can go ahead and get started. I'm going to, so I've been here before. I have actually been in the Topgolf VR digital twin before with Mike, but Ash has not. So I think one thing that we could do, Mike, is I could be quiet and let you and Ash run the tour. Is that okay with you?
Sure. Yeah,
Sounds good to me.
absolutely. I think to talk about where we are now, this is a digital recreation of the lobby in Vegas. So back at Dell Technologies World, we actually went with the Link to VR guys, a team there, and they took a bunch of pictures and created this space from the real life lobby in the Topgolf Vegas venue. And so certainly some really cool aspects to this, and it really makes for an immersive landing spot in the Topgolf alt space VR environment. And you can see
Mike,
there's a VX rail in the lobby. There's not actually a VX rail in the Vegas lobby, but
We're gonna have to work on
there's
that.
VX rails in the Vegas data center.
We'll get one of the rugged ones and we'll put it on the wall so that
There you go.
there's no
Yeah,
issues.
just bolt it to the wall.
Absorb golf ball strikes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So Mike, real quick, can you touch on the Topgolf philosophy? If I recall, you don't work for Topgolf IT, you work for TI. I think
correct.
that kind of speaks a lot to the philosophy of Topgolf.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't call ourselves an IT team. We call ourselves a TI team. So we're technology innovation. That's what that stands for. And it's just it's a reminder, a daily reminder that that's our focus. We're always looking to innovate. We're always looking to take it to the next level to really make sure that player experience is, game changing and life altering and I want to have friends and family and everybody.
And Mike, I know
Very cool.
I know one of your big use cases with VxRail is to drive a lot of the things we're about to see on the
Yep.
tour with GPUs. But you not only have to solve that challenge, but you also are essentially running multiple different edges because you're running data centers across multiple different sites. You have two of those challenges. Can you kind of talk to how that dynamic works?
Sure. So yeah, every venue has a mini data center. So we definitely have a VxRail cluster in every venue running all the venue workloads. So not only the gaming that we'll talk about here shortly, but also the POS, the point of sale, everything that it takes to make that venue tick is all running on the VxRail cluster. So certainly it has been game changer for us. We were previously a big PowerEdge customer, and we're running all those workloads on PowerEdge. And so for us to be able to fold all those workloads into the VxRail cluster has been huge for us, and certainly, like you alluded to, big GPU on VxRail customers as well.
Awesome. So I think we can get out of the lobby and actually see what everyone probably really wants to see.
Yeah,
Which
let's
is
go out to the T line. I
full
think that's
experience, right?
there's the wow factor.
All right, cool. Lead the way. Tell us what we're doing.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
over here, you'll see the T line. There's going to be a warp. Jump through that, and we'll be magically warped over to the T line, and we can talk about the Bay experience.
Awesome. Let's go do it.
Great job, everybody. And for those up on stage, as a reminder, if you guys want to speak when you're not on stage, don't forget you can use that host tools in the bottom right and just amplify your voice anytime. So we will see everybody on the T line.
Alrighty, and just wait until we get here, everyone. This T line is stunning.
Boss, got my mic.
Oh, here it is.
Dave.
Always beneficial.
Right over here.
Josh, did you get a chance to go to Topgolf
Right over
out
here.
in Vegas at Dell Technologies World?
Yeah, I was actually as part of the Converged
Oh.
User Group event. One of the first nights there. So I feel like I'm there at least once a year.
And we could do it
Well, and
right
now
here
more
in the
times
center
if you
bay.
count
That's a
VR.
That's a great
Right,
call out, Mike.
right.
And Dave, along with Ash. So
Maybe
yeah,
Regina, you can get
absolutely.
us our own
Everybody
bay
can just
later.
kind of come to the center bay.
That's right.
Just as a reminder to our speakers, you just go ahead in the bottom right corner. Don't forget to amplify your voice so everybody can hear you. And then for those joining us that are just popping in, just head to the center bay where they're going to be able to actually walk through the bay live and kind of point out some of the different elements that make Topgolf so special to their players and talk a little bit more about the incredible relationship with Dell Technologies. So on that note, Dave, I'm going to throw it back your way.
Awesome.
And when
Thanks,
you're done
Ed.
with that
And,
six pack.
I know, right? This looks beautiful. This is the high quality, low impact. Wow, it's carbon neutral ale. It's
Well, you know what's great is, and the reason why these are in here is we are actually a huge partner with New Belgium Brewery. We serve their beers in our venues. They're on tap in our venues, and we certainly have partnered with them in the in the real world as well as the virtual. I got six packs flying at my head here.
I know. This is fantastic. Well, cool. So Ash, let me ask you, have you been to a Topgolf venue in person?
Absolutely. Many times. Many times. I've been to this
Okay.
exact location when we went to Dell Technologies World. So it feels very,
So-
very familiar.
How does it feel? Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I think I was in the bay down there and I was hitting balls into the fence there.
Yep.
I'm not that very good. I'm
Very-
not a very good golfer.
It was the
Well,
left
but
fence,
that's-
right?
But also
Yes.
that, I mean, to that point, Mike, you talk about it. It's not really about being a good golfer. It's about coming and being a player and enjoying. And I think we can get into how you deliver that. And then Ash, you can dive into like how VxRail helps deliver that whole thing. So like families, Mike, tell the story about, or, I talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, I brought my kids and it was a blast. Like, you don't have to play golf to come to a Topgolf.
Yeah.
Can you talk to that a
Well,
little?
and I hear that so much that, when I tell people I work for Topgolf, they go, oh, I'd love to come to Topgolf. I'm a terrible golfer. And I think that's the benefit of an experience like this, is that, our players come, they have fun no matter what skill level they are, whether whether they play green grass golf or they've never swung a club. They get out there, they get into the bay, and they have an amazing experience. You can see the way these bays are laid out. They're really they allow for 8 people to be in each bay. To have a comfortable seating area, to be able to cheer on who's on the mat hitting the ball. We also have amazing food and beverage to partake in while you're here, and we provide this really immersive 3D gaming experience that ties to the physical world as you hit balls off the mat. So, you know, where I'm standing right here is what we call the hitting mat. If you can see
Okay.
right here behind me, this is a new dispenser. So this is being put in all new venues, and then we're actually going to be retrofitting this as well. But what it does is it takes that player screen and it puts it right in front of you. So as you're interfacing and hitting balls, playing a game, it's putting that experience right there in front of you on the mat, which makes it even more immersive. And you can see down here, you've got a small little box here where you wave your club, it dispenses the ball, and then you crush it into the field. And so and then when we turn around and we look on the pillar here, you can see the game panel. This is actually where you're interfacing with the game, starting the game experience. And then right above that is what we call the bay board. It faces the
Okay.
bay. It has and it basically pulls in whoever's sitting in the bay, not necessarily on the hitting mat, but allowing them to see what's happening in the game and to share in the overall experience. So just an amazing immersive 3D experience, 3D game experience that's happening.
So, Mike, I know I bring my kids here all the time, and the thing that they love the most is the Angry Birds games. How do you
Angry Birds.
how do you
Oh.
track all the balls and get all the birds to line up so they hit the right things? Because it seems like whenever they hit out there, they just love knocking down those pigs.
Yeah, Angry Birds is a really popular one with the kiddos. My kiddo loves it as well. She got to beta test it before it went out to production and provide her feedback, which ended up being really good. But yeah, we're actually using our VX Rails to do 3D tracking of ball flight as well. So we've got cameras that are mounted in each of our venues that work in pairs and are actually watching that ball flight and then creating a 3D graphical representation to then integrate into our games, not just Angry Birds, but games like Jewel Jam, which is a Bejeweled type game that maps that 3D ball tracing into the 3D game. So very immersive, very engaging game. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to be a good golfer. If you get it off the mat there, it flies. You know, it graphically it ends up being a bird that destroys a structure and kills a pig or pops a pig. Sorry, not kills.
Go
I
ahead,
was just gonna
Dash.
say one other thing you mentioned, which I thought was really cool. When we talked about this at Fogo de Chao at VME, you talked about, hey, during the pandemic, when a lot of the different businesses were struggling to adapt to the new world. You had some free cycles on your VX Rails, on your GPUs, and you were able to do some good with them. Your team was very innovative on how they handle that situation. Can you talk a little bit to that?
Sure. So during our COVID shutdowns, or during COVID, a lot of our venues were shut down where we were not able to serve players and not able to host players in our venues. And so what we did with those VxRail clusters that are GPU enabled is we started throwing folding at home workloads at them and started doing some good around the protein folding and providing that research that not only goes to COVID research, but also all types of diseases. And so we started throwing those workloads at and we quickly started climbing the charts in the leaderboards for folding at home, and started talking trash to our Dallas Mavericks partners that were also doing it in their 3D gaming venues, and it was just a really good way to utilize those VX Rails in a time where they weren't running venue workloads.
That's
If you
really
would have
cool.
the new ones, the new ESA, you could even done even better. You can
Oh
hire
yeah,
players
yeah.
for that.
We
Awesome
could have
track.
folded even more.
Are you guys still doing that, or do you do that after you shut down the bays, or what are you doing now?
At this point, we're not doing that.
Okay.
We've not deployed it to do for outside of business hours.
That makes sense. Makes perfect sense. And you were also, I think we were talking, you're not stopping it. I mean, Angry Birds is really cool. I remember when it grabbed me, and every time I was sitting in line at a Starbucks, I was watching people play Angry Birds while they were waiting.
Mhm.
But it's been around for a while. It's not the only game that you're doing. I think you guys were talking about you can play famous courses. How's that
Yeah,
working?
so we've got a game called Virtual Courses, and you can select from all world famous courses out there, including Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, and it basically takes your shot that you hit off the map and creates that graphical representation. And you play a course, you play all the holes within a course, and so very cool experience that
Wild.
you can
Yes.
partake in right there in venue.
It's wild. Awesome.
Guys, one more question for
Okay.
me. It's because I was just going to say, I know you're scaling out to a lot of different locations internationally. And
Yep.
so how can you, I know we've talked in the past how VxRail has helped you kind of scale very quickly to those new locations. Can you talk about the new locations you're scaling out to and how that's helping?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
So,
sending a note right now.
with
Hey, Ed.
VxRail as a standard,
Check Mike.
we
Yep,
are.
just a second.
I'm
Yep.
hearing some. Sorry.
We
Sorry.
just wanted to let you
With
guys know you
VxRail
guys
as a
are doing
standard, it has allowed us.
fantastic. Yeah, we're just letting you guys know you're doing fantastic and awesome presentation. We also just want to do a quick time check, Dave, just to let you know, just keeping an eye on time. That's all. So again, thanks,
Okay.
guys. You guys are killing it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Ash, to get back to your question, I think VxRail is we've able to establish that as our standard, and as we grow internationally and as we work with partners, we deliver them a proven bulletproof standard that they can then go deploy in these international venues. And it basically allows us to just standardize across the board, whether we're talking about a domestic venue or an international venue, of this bulletproof, proven experience that we can deliver to players across the world.
You guys are doing awesome stuff. This has really been a ton of fun. We do want to give people a chance. Yeah, I'm gonna steal you guys. We're going to do some Q&A with the Zoom folks. For folks who are in full immersion, please explore. And I'd like to call Scotro up here. Scott, where are you? All right, everybody. So this gentleman right here works for Topgolf as well. And he's very familiar with the virtual twin as well as how it all works. So I'm going to put you on the spot, but I think I know the answer. Can you host these folks if they've got questions for further of what you guys are doing while I steal Mike away and we go talk to the Zoom folks? Is that okay, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hang out here. If you guys have any questions, just come grab me.
Yeah, take
Awesome.
them to the
Thank you so
selfie
much.
pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, show them the field. No, thank you, folks. This is free for all now. I maybe I shouldn't call it that way, but I just did. I'm going to take these guys. We're going to go do some Q&A with the Zoom folks. If you're in full immersion, please explore, ask questions, network, have a great time. Thank you for attending. And before I jump, thank you for VMware, Intel, Dell Technologies, all the sponsors making this possible. All right. So we need to go. I think we have to go back out to the lobby and talk to the Zoom folks. And I think Mike already headed over.
Yeah.
Awesome. There's Regina.
Outstanding
Great.
job, everybody.
Thanks. We'll see you in a second.
All right. Everybody who's not in the Zooms, if you want to see something you can't see anywhere else, come over here to this green button. So this will
Okay.
take us out to the field.
And looks like
You
we're
can't get this
gonna
view
wait for
anywhere
Dave
else in the
and
Topgolf because you're gonna
Ash
get
and
hit in
Mike
the
to
head
head
with
on
a
out to
ball,
the
and that's
lobby,
not okay.
and then we'll get our
Here,
exclusive
you
time
don't
with
have to worry
them.
about that. So come on.
Yes. So we're kind of in
Excellent. All
that
right, everybody, let's
transition
go ahead and
moment
pull
where
up
we're going to
Scott.
move
So just go right ahead
over.
over to the selfie spot. Just go ahead and
Okay,
click
cool.
that button. It'll pop you right out onto the selfie stage.
Somebody's got a
and you can actually
lightsaber.
get a really cool photograph with Scotro with the Topgolf facility right behind you. So very, very cool experience. And it's only something you could do here in Altspace. So Scott,
Okay,
I'm
there we
gonna throw
go.
it back
I'm looking
over
for
to
the right
you.
teleport there.
So
So I think we
again,
got it now.
if you just go to that selfie spot, just click it and you can head over there, or feel free to.
All right, here we go. Yeah, it's so interesting. There's so much going on when you do these events.
Mhm.
It's the speakers and they have their private channel, and then it's the, broadcasting to everybody in the room, and then we got the Zoom group. So
Awesome.
I feel like
Yep.
each time we
Not
make
yet.
some tweaks and
Hi,
adjustments.
everybody. I hope you're doing great.
It's fun to have this
We're
one
having
up.
a blast here. This is the Topgolf lobby, and we're waiting for our speakers to come in. They'll be here shortly. I hope you're really enjoying the Zoom, and I hope we get a chance to see you in a future VR lounge environment with us. I'll tell you, being able to have the customers tell the story, and not only just tell the story, but walk you through the story, is a huge, fantastic thing. I'm really excited that Topgolf spoke to us about a year ago at VMworld when it was virtual, and we built an early version of this out. And now to be able to, like, how we've taken it so much further, it's fantastic. They're doing great stuff.
And it's been
Don't
wonderful,
know where they
Dave.
are though.
Hold on.
They
I think I
definitely
know where
should
they
be here soon. But while we're waiting, just to let you know, we have folks in the Zoom audience who are filling up the chat with
Awesome.
their experiences at Topgolf's around the world, really. We've got folks who
Yeah,
have been to
really
Topgolf in
global.
all different locations.
Yep, it's global. Anybody in the chat, was anybody there out in San Francisco at VME? Or I don't have a sense of, how many folks were out there, how many folks weren't able to go.
I don't think too many.
Oh, that's
We'll ask
in
our Zoom
San
audience to pop in here on chat. Regina can hear us, but can hear
That's
Ann
one
and
neat
me,
thing.
but Dave cannot.
All
So
right, cool.
if you were in San Francisco,
And
I see Keith D is saying he
we'll
was.
see what other questions we might have. You know what we might have to
Oh.
do while I wait?
And we do, so Dave, just while Josh and Ann were asking the folks to let us know in the chat if they were in SF, and we do have a couple folks who were. We've got Keith D, who was in San Francisco, and Rodney Robinson was in San Francisco. Nice.
Awesome. Awesome. Hopefully they're able to share some of the stuff. I know that everyone says it was great being back in person, and it certainly was. A neat in between is this VR opportunity. So if we can get, if folks out there on the Zoom have headsets, ping us at member services at convergeusergroup.com, or check out the website. We've got a lot of VR resources on the website, and we'll see if we can get you into full immersion in the future. That would be really fun. For the 5-minute commute of clearing a little bit of space on your floor and putting on the headset, it really does give you a sense of you're pretty close to people. Not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Guys, how are you?
Hey.
And when
Alright.
you get a chance, while we're bringing our speakers in,
Glad
can
you
you just
came.
pop
Okay.
that email address and website into the chat for
Did
folks?
you have to go back to the
Sure.
lounge and then come through?
It's
Yeah.
the danger of having two lobbies, I think.
I know. Sorry about that.
Lounge, lobby.
Yep. Well, so I'm gonna step back. Regina's
Okay.
talking with the Zoom folks, hosted by Ann, and I think there's some questions out there. I've already established a couple of folks on the Zoom were in San Francisco, so they can help share their thoughts through chat too. And I'll step aside and let you two gentlemen answer a few questions.
Very cool.
Sure.
Thank you
That
so
would sound
much,
good.
Dave. So, Mike, our audience actually has, and just so you know, the camera here and the red hat represents our audience. Just so you know, if we give them a nice wave. Hey, everyone. They are
Finger guns,
zooming
finger
in.
guns.
No,
Looks like we lost some sound.
I just lost Regina's
we go.
audio.
Yeah.
oh,
me
let's
too.
me
see
too.
here.
Oh,
Now
there
I
we go.
gotcha.
Now you're back.
I'm back.
This is always it's always
All
interesting with
right.
live TV.
So it's fun. All I was saying was that we've got folks from all over, and specifically folks from all over who have been to top golf venues all over. So it's a really exciting crowd today. And our first question, Mike, is for you. If
Okay.
you could tell us a little bit about Top Golf's expansion plans. What states or markets are you targeting?
Ooh. Well, I can talk about the ones that have been announced there, but we're always announcing new venues. So I would definitely say if you're interested, go subscribe to our social media channels to get the most updated announcements. But really, of the ones that we've announced that are coming this year that are really exciting, we're going to be building a venue, or actually already building a venue in Boise. Sadly, it doesn't have a blue field like the Boise football team field does, but an exciting market that we're going to, as well as another venue in Salt Lake City area in Utah. And then, Scotro, help me out. Where else?
Oh man, we've got Vineyard.
I heard a rumor you might have something in Massachusetts, Rhode Island area.
Yeah.
Yes, coming along. Nothing announced just yet, but stay tuned.
Isn't that a good round? Don't-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's exciting to be expanded. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing is really just the white space that we have to be able to expand and to go into new markets. It continues to grow and continues to provide opportunity for us. We're doing about 10 to 13 venues a year, both domestically and internationally. And so, if we're doing nothing more else, we're expanding.
Well, and
That's
don't forget
great.
to talk about the
Headcount
China
too, right,
venue
as you
coming
do
up
that?
too.
You guys are adding headcount to your TI team as you're doing that, right?
That seems a little bit like a trap question with Scotro here. We are not. We are.
I guess I'm setting you up, but it's
Yeah.
not a one for one because of the
No,
way
it's
you're
not.
doing it.
We've been able to stay with a very lean and mean team and really manage everything remotely, which greatly benefited us through COVID. But certainly as we grow and open new venues, we are not incrementally adding staff and playmakers just because of the ease of use and ease of management of the VxRail environments.
And so we have a next question. We actually have one for each. So Scott, we have a next question from the audience for you, and then Ash, you're on deck. So Scott, we know, of course, too, from the presentation back in the Converged VR Lounge that you were just in San Francisco not too long ago, presenting with the Topgolf venue behind you on an LED wall in virtual reality, and then here you are not too much later in virtual reality. What is that like having the two presentations on both sides?
So I got to be honest, in San Francisco, I was a little disappointed I couldn't be in the space. But no, it's really good. It's kind of uncanny. We have such a big connection to the physical buildings that we have all over the place. So anytime that I'm in this virtual twin, it's a little bit daunting to wrap my head around how far we've come in this whole thing and being able to interface with folks that may not have the chance to go to a Topgolf in one of the cities that we have a venue in. So this is fantastic. I really enjoy my time in this twin and in the venue, both.
Oh, fun. I know the audience appreciates it too, both in San Francisco and out here on Zoom. Ash, we've got a question for you too. So this is about PowerFlex. So a question came through, will the PowerFlex be maintained with RCMs? And if so, how are you keeping pace with the rate of security fixes needed in today's day and age?
Great question.
Go ahead, Ash.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, great question. With PowerFlex RCM, obviously one of the tremendous benefits with PowerFlex is that you can multi-hypervisor, you can do bare metal workloads, you can do virtualized workloads. So the team has a very tight integration with the hardware ecosystem, obviously running on PowerEdge, so they do the updates can keep up to pace with those updates. these are the different ecosystems that are constantly expanding with VMware, with the Linux underlying operating systems, deliver those updates at the same cadence. We have a dedicated security team, and it's the same kind of security team that manages all the VxRel updates across all of our HCI portfolios. So they, with that team and through the product security offices, that's how they keep track from a overall Dell Technologies perspective, and we drive those updates down to our different product lines across our portfolio.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That wraps. Dave, I'll turn it over to you, but that's our questions from the Zoom audience. Ash, Mike, Scott, thank you so much. Dave, back to you.
Thanks, Regina, and thanks, Ash, for joining us. Thanks, Mike, for joining us, and Scott Tro, thanks for joining on a short notice and getting put on the spot. You are fantastic, my friend. Thank you, everybody out there on the Zoom, for joining us and taking the time. As we wrap, I'm going to hand it over to Josh and Ann. Thank you all for making it possible, and we hope to see you again soon in another VR Lounge.
Okay, well, thanks, Geese, and we'll thank Regina
Thanks
as well.
again,
Of
everybody.
course,
Feel free to explore for a little while.
thank you to our
guys.
speakers,
We're gonna keep
to
this space open.
Ash and Mike and Scott, and of course, Geese again. And any final thoughts? And we're already at the top of the hour, so I guess we'll wrap it up pretty quickly.
I know it goes by so fast, but again, thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure kind of being your co-host today throughout AltSpace VR. Just a quick plug, we have a couple other programs coming up. We are doing a series called Evolving Your Team. So this is a great conversation about your team transitioning into the cloud, and how you can really upskill your team members and make sure that your team is evolving with the technology, and making sure that you're having those conversations that are going to help you internally, whether you're managing a team or looking to manage, and how your team can really move. So this is a two-part series, and the first one will be held September 29th, and the second one will be held October 6th. So we're really looking forward to bringing the series. It's been asked by the members that you want it, so we got it coming up for you, along with some other events. So please continue to join and let us know if you need anything. The Converged User Group is always here for you. So we appreciate your time today, and we look forward to seeing everybody at an upcoming event. Josh, anything else you want to add?
No, again, I just appreciate having the time here today. Topgolf is amazing. Hopefully we can get New Belgium Brewing sometime soon, since we're promoting Fat Tire for them here at this event. Also want to, of course, thank our partners, VMware and Intel. And looking forward to seeing you again really soon.
Great. And thank you, Josh, and Dell Technologies as well for your support of the user group. So thank you all. Have a good afternoon, evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.